drop. So hopefully,
All right, here we go. Take it away, Michael.
Thanks, Sarah. Appreciate it. Thanks everyone for joining. For those of you that I have not met, my name is Michael Bane. I'm account manager here at Acquia. I'm just working with the Stanford team to make sure you get everything you need out of your subscription from Acquia and in Drupal in general. So thanks everyone again for joining.
I can go. I'm Rachael. I'm also an account manager here at Acquia. I'm helping Mike with the Stanford team, and moving forward, I'll be the account manager. So if you guys ever need anything, feel free to reach out to Sarah and her team, and then also to me directly.
Awesome. And my name's Maggie Schroeder. I'm a director of product marketing at Acquia, covering the Drupal cloud side of the house. So our more platform focused products. It's great to meet you all. I think with that, we can go right into the presentation. If everyone's good with that. Cool. All right. So let me know, you can see my screen, right? Say, big Acquia slide, all good. Sounds like awesome. So we've got a pretty quick agenda today, and obviously a smaller group. So feel free to come off mute at any time. If you have any specific questions, we're happy to field those here today. And again, always open to answering questions if you feel more comfortable dropping those in chat as well. But with that, let's talk about our agenda. So a little spoiler here, we're not just here to talk about D7 end of life, since that's coming now in 2023. There's also something else on the horizon. So we'll address PHP 7.4 end of life and what Acquia is doing to support you all when the time comes for 7.4 end of life. We'll also go into a little more detail around what Acquia can do to help you with the D7 to D9 migration, though it sounds like you're all having great success in migrating already. So again, we'll just reiterate ways in which we can support and help you all on that journey. And then finally, I was just at DrupalCon. I don't know if anyone else was there out in Portland. And if I missed you, I'm sorry, but I'd love to share with you all one of the, I'd say, most well-received announcements that we had at DrupalCon, which was showing Code Studio, which is a new product we have. It's an offering that we've partnered with GitLab on. Really cool stuff. So we've got a demo video, since that will spice up the whole presentation here. But with that, let's jump right into it. So as we know, PHP end of life is actually on the horizon before D7 end of life now. And so Acquia recognized, right, that all of our customers who are on D7 are using probably PHP in some capacity, and most likely PHP 7.4. And so even though the end of life for D7 has been pushed out, we know that PHP, there will still be the upgrade to PHP 8 required in November. And so with that, right, you have to migrate to PHP 8 by October, actually, apologies, right? So it puts you on a really quick timeline for the PHP upgrade. And there's a lot that's involved in the upgrade process from 7.4 to 8. Right. And all of how long this is going to take you will depend on a few factors, right? Such as, the time that you have to allocate towards a PHP upgrade, the amount of custom code you might have in your application, any type of updated or any type of contributed modules that you'll have to update to support PHP 8 or that might not support PHP 8 that you'll have to analyze. And then of course, updating development environments as well. So it's even more complicated than what's on this slide. And so again, at Acquia, we recognize this, and a lot of our team who are Drupalists, express the need for extended support for PHP, and we've done this in the past. So we'll be extending support for PHP 7.4 beyond the end of life date in November. And so again, we'll let you go past the end of life date with support from Acquia and make sure that you can continue your migration from Drupal 7 to Drupal 9 without being disrupted with this upgrade or update to PHP. So I'll pause there. Pretty quick update, right? We're extending the support. Great, great news, yay. Any questions on extended support for PHP? Looks like maybe not. I don't see anyone. Cool. Yeah, so pretty straightforward. So again, making sure that you're supported well beyond the end of life date if you need that type of support. And this is only one part, of course, of the journey that we have over the next couple of years. And again, a lot of you are well on your way to migrating to Drupal 9 from Drupal 7, which is awesome to hear. And so if you look at where we are, right, Drupal 7 support was extended. However, Acquia is still dedicated to extending that support even further. We announced our support until 2025. I think back in, I want to say February, before it was even announced in the Drupal community that they'd be extending support for Drupal 7. And of course, we now recognize as well with the news coming from the community that Drupal 9 end of life will be in November of 2023. So that's right around the corner, right around the same time as Drupal 7 end of life. So the other thing that Acquia is committing to is Drupal 10 readiness, similar to how we supported Drupal 9, right out of the gate. We'll be replicating that type of effort for Drupal 10. So you can rest assured that we'll support any application that you'll be running on Drupal over the next couple of years. And really the reason we did this, right, is we want to help all customers with their journey from Drupal 7 to Drupal 9, and we want to help at every phase of the migration. And so it's anything from analysis and planning to any type of DevOps work to your data import to migrating business logic and even creating the presentation layer. And again, all of you on the call might be at different phases of this journey. And what we really wanted to do here at Acquia was provide tools for you at every step again of this journey. It's actually funny, Angie Byron, if any of you know her, you might know her better as Web Chick in the community. We actually worked together to create a lot of this workflow, and she brought with her a great understanding of Drupal to help infuse that into our products and offerings when it came to considering a Drupal 7 to Drupal 9 migration. She actually created AMA herself, which is again, really cool. The other Drupalist I'll call out is Matt Grasmick. I forget his tag, but when we go into Code Studio later, he's had a lot of influence into our developer tools and all of the innovation for anything you see for Drupal development in-house at Acquia. He's actually leading the team for innovations in our Drupal development tools. So cool stuff coming from a lot of Drupalists that you might know from previous DrupalCons. And just to give a comparison, and hopefully that this is showing on the slide. Are you guys seeing Acquia's value for D7 customers? I'm not really seeing this moving.
There's like a piece on the previous slide that, I caught it.
Here we go. Okay. I'm going too fast apparently for Google Slides today. Cool. So the only thing I wanted to iterate here again, when I mentioned, Acquia's value at every phase, it's just a comparison, right, to what's offered in the market. We're really looking to go above and beyond. Something that I'll deep dive into is the first point here, Flight Path for a D7 application assessment. This is a free service. So if you have any interest in this, I will, personally help to work with you or contact, Mike or Rachael for any assistance on getting access to this, but it will assess your D7 application for you and give you just more insight into what your app looks like to make migration a little bit more transparent on the level of effort that will take. And of course, Acquia Migrate Accelerate. So that's our D7 to D9 migration accelerator, which isn't offered anywhere else in market today. And then finally, we're offering PHP 7.4 extended support as well as D7 extended support to make sure that, even if you're not making every deadline in the community, that Acquia is helping you get that extra buffer room that you might need to make the migration on your own time. And then finally, D10 readiness, right? We are fully committed, as I had mentioned before, to being ready for D10 once it's available to you. So if you want to migrate day of, great, we'll be there by your side, ready to support. But as I mentioned, Flight Path assessment, pretty new. We announced this back in February, I want to say end of February, and it's pretty cool, right? So it's meant to just give you a full analysis of your Drupal 7 application to make analysis and planning easier for your migration. Simple as that. And it's got a bunch of different features that will come as a result of conducting the analysis. So it will give you a content review. And so it will quite literally show you, all of the different types of content that you have and the different content types that exist in your current Drupal 7 application. It will also give you insights into your Drupal 7 modules. So it will show which types of modules you have, whether they're core, community contributed, sub modules, or even custom modules. It will also give you insight into a field instance summary, and it'll show if those field instances have a migration path that is vetted, unvetted, or we might have that flagged as unknown. And unknown field types will need to be bespoke handling to migrate the data, or will need bespoke handling rather. And then finally, it will also give you a content review. So it will show all of your published content by content type as well. So a lot of detail, and hopefully it wasn't lagging too much as I was going through that. I noticed like a little bit of pixelation on my end, but hopefully that wasn't appearing. Yeah, that's Flight Path. It has a lot more detail even than what I showed you here today. This is a quick snippet of the fun graphs that are generated, but again, gives you a holistic analysis of your Drupal 7 application. So any questions there before I hop into, I'd say, the spiciest part of the presentation today, which is Code Studio.
How do they access Flight Path?
So Flight Path would be done with an Acquia solutions engineer, and the solutions engineer, it would take around, I think, 30 minutes, start to finish, to conduct a Flight Path assessment.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Cool. Any other questions? Great, cool. Well, then let's hop right into our developer innovation. So Code Studio, as I mentioned, it's a new offering that we have at Acquia. We partnered with GitLab to provide what is essentially a Drupal optimized version of GitLab that's ready to be used on day one. And this is really the brainchild of Matt Grasmick. He's been in the Drupal community for, gosh, I don't know. I think it's got to be 10 plus years, at least. Pretty well known. He was in a Dries note, I want to say 2 years ago, but he's recently started to take over, as I mentioned, our developer tools. And so Code Studio is meant to come in and help with any type of Drupal project. But as GitLab fits into most developer workflows, you'll see a similar parallel to Code Studio. And I could talk all day about it, but I think what would really help out is a demo. So let me open that up and hit play here.
Introducing Acquia Code Studio, a Drupal optimized version of GitLab managed by Acquia with everything you need to deploy a Drupal site in one place. Let's take a look at a few of the features that make Code Studio so powerful. First, Auto DevOps is a zero configuration required CI/CD pipeline that will automatically build, test, and stage your Drupal site every time you make a code change. That means better code, fewer bugs, and faster delivery. It installs all dependencies using Composer. It runs your tests, checks security, and validates against Drupal best practices. And finally, it assembles your code into a fast and secure artifact that is ready to be hosted. Code Studio's automatic updates make Drupal updates a breeze. Scheduled pipelines will update all Composer dependencies, including Drupal core, contributed modules, and distributions. Code Studio will also automatically replace deprecated code in your custom Drupal modules. Best of all, a merge request is created for you to easily review all changes made. You can validate that all tests have passed and even review changes in a dedicated on-demand review environment. When you're ready, click Merge. Acquia takes care of the rest. Acquia Code Studio enables your team to spend more time innovating and less time updating and maintaining your site.
Cool. So that's Code Studio in a nutshell. I'd say I would do without the fun music in the background, but really cool product. I think it's, one of those things where, you can use Code Studio, but if you already have GitLab, that's also a great path to take. So it's one of those things where we just wanted to partner with someone else who is supporting open source or who is an open source product in the market, GitLab, to really come together to help developers everywhere. This was very fun to show at DrupalCon. So if you stop by the Acquia booth, maybe you've already seen this and this is old news for you. But yeah, just wanted to share an exciting demo. And Great. And so then any last questions? The other thing I will say is that Code Studio, Ron Northcutt, who is a longtime Acquia and longtime Drupalist, just revamped dev.acquia.com. So there's going to be a lot more resources popping up on dev.acquia.com. If you haven't checked it out recently, I highly encourage it. And fun fact, Ron used Code Studio for the entire build of dev.acquia.com. And it was funny, he was using it when it was still in beta, and Matt Grasmick would add features to Code Studio and be like, hey, Ron, check this out. So pretty fun. And again, if you want to see kind of the results of using something like Code Studio, they created the new dev.acquia.com, I want to say end to end in about a month and a half. Really cool. Definitely check it out. But yeah, I'd love to take any questions that you all have.
I know we have developers on this Zoom because they're on the SWS team. I'm curious what questions anybody has, particularly about the dev tools that we just saw, because they are not ones that we're making use of. Oh man, I threw a gauntlet and they didn't even pick it up.
No worries. I mean, and also if you think of questions later, feel free to contact us. I'm happy to answer any questions. And, you know, I know Ron, especially, who's been hands-on with Code Studio. If you're like, I want to see like an actual Code Studio instance in real life happening, and he'll literally push updates. He was doing it at DrupalCon. He'll push updates to the site live, like right in front of you. He loves doing it. I think he likes to show off a little bit with Code Studio. But if you're ever interested, we're happy to set something like that up.
That sounds good.
Cool. All right, awesome. Well, thank you all for your time. We really appreciate it. I don't know, Mike or Rachel, if you have any questions or last comments.
No, thank you everyone for joining. And if you have any questions, again, feel free to reach out to Sarah, the SWS team, myself, or Rachel, and you know, we're happy to follow up. Really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of Stanford WebCamp.
Thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. As much as we're trying very hard to retire Drupal 7, we know for sure there will be at least, I would say, 60 complex Drupal 7 sites sticking around for the next 12 months. So we are very appreciative of the end of life, extended end of life support, and for all your partnership over the years.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Sarah. Yeah, hopefully the information is timely. So we're glad that we had the opportunity to talk about it.
For sure. All right, thanks everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.